We call it the cloud, but it's actually not in the sky. It's in a warehouse, humming, sweating, swallowing power. The place where your memories, your chats, and all your searches actually live. And somehow, we've managed to forget it's even there. So here's the question. Why do the world's biggest factories pretend to be weightless? Today, I'm gonna investigate this a little bit. If this fascinates you just a little bit, stay a while. I promise it won't be long.
Welcome to the insides of my logbook while doing a PhD in AI. I'm hoping that you think, I hadn't thought about it like that. We swipe and we stream as if nothing moves, as if this data just floats. But the cloud, it has coordinates. Google and Microsoft, just for some examples, data centers live in Iowa, Dublin, Cape Town, some in the Netherlands. And these warehouses, they're the size of stadiums. They're massive. And they draw more electricity than some cities. So why do we still imagine them as floating? So the word cloud is marketing genius. It made steel and heat sound like freedom. The reality, however, kilometers of cable under the sea, cooling systems that vaporize thousands of liters of water in a single day. And this is not even including these newly generated AI models. If we look at an old model like GPT 3.5, it consumed an estimated 1.3 gigawatt hours of electricity. And for those of you who don't understand what a gigawatt is, it's a shit ton. That's all I'm going to say. And this is what I'm getting at here. When the world runs on metaphors, who remembers the matter that's actually underneath them? It's hard. So I'm going to pull from the work of quite a well-known philosopher of technology. A little bit controversial, and also a little bit confusing. But Martin Heidegger, he said that technology doesn't just help us see the world. It decides how the world appears, and that's important. He called this way of seeing in framing. And it might sound a little bit confusing, but let me try and explain it. When everything, even nature, shows up as something to be ordered, stored, or ready on demand, the cloud is this inframing made physical. So the Earth isn't gone in the sense of the cloud. It's just waiting, always ready to power another query, cool another server, and hold another memory. Heidegger called this standing reserve. And standing reserve is what happens when we stop meeting the world as something that can surprise us and start treating it like it's inventory. And I think that's why this cloud that we talk about, the cloud where everything sits, feels infinite, because it never really asks us to stop. It feels like we have all of this access, and we just need to pay a little bit of money if you want more cloud storage, if you want this, it's fine. We can just get bigger models, blah, blah, blah. And that's because we're treating it as this infinite thing, and we're seeing the earth and the world as standing reserves, ours that can just be taken, and not as this amazing thing that's going to change, and global warming, climate change. This is kind of happening. The world is surprising us because of that. So you're saying, Bianca, what are you on about talking about this meta thing here? Let's bring it back to the cloud. The cloud, it changed something deeper than we even realize. It didn't just give us storage. It made the whole world available all the time. Every photo, message, internet history, ideas, they all sit waiting to be called up at any second. And that changes how we see everything else. We start to expect the same from the world around us. Instant, ready, and always online. And this is what Heidegger was warning us about. When everything exists only to be used, we stop seeing it for what it really is. Okay, let me explain Heidegger with a simpler example. Let's think about a tap. When the water flows and you turn it on, you don't ever really think about all of the pipes and then the water, what do you call it? The water thing that's on a hill, this thing that holds the water, like the water gallon. I don't know what it's called. That thing. You don't think of the gravity that causes the water to go through the pipes eventually to get to your kitchen sink. You just think about the water coming out of the tap. And that's what he's saying. When it stops working, then you start thinking, oh, it's not just a tap with water coming out of it. There is pipes, there is this, there is that. You see the whole system. And what I'm getting at here, or through Heidegger's teachings, the cloud is kind of like a tap that never runs dry. So we forget that there are pipes and all of these other systems taking from the world, or the earth, I should say. And that's what makes the cloud different. It's not just carrying our information. It's quietly teaching us how to see the earth. Something that has endless stuff that we don't have to worry about because someone else is figuring it out, and they'll find more silicon. They have goals and shares that they want to make sure that they get all their money, so they'll figure it out. And eventually we start using up all our resources, and now, hello, global warming, climate change. The cloud is dangerous marketing. That word. Dangerous. Genius, dangerous.
Good evening. It's time for our thought experiment. So, I invite you to imagine one day this cloud stopped being a metaphor, and every upload released a drop of water. Every search mist. Soon, the sky would darken, and everything that we'd stored would start to fall back down. And maybe that's how the world balances itself, by reminding us that nothing ever really leaves the ground. Heidegger would have something to say about that. And I'd never really thought of it like that. Anyway, it's Monday. I'll see you tomorrow.